Hey, happy Valentine's Day from Metal Dog Tarot. I have a new deck, Mystic Mondays. There is the beautiful Magician there on the bottom. They're very shiny. They have foil sides. It's like the most glamorous deck, even more than my Klimt deck. It is also an advanced deck because all the cards don't have images on them. So it's my first time reading with this deck. I got it last night. It felt, well, whatever, I'm gonna be myself. Okay, when I got this deck, it felt irritated and negative in its energy. And so I snuggled it between all of my sweetheart decks that I use all the time and invited it into the family last night. I put this beautiful glass egg that came from a glass factory that poured into the sea and made these little eggs, and it's supposed to bring in love. And then this is a goddess stone that I was inspired one of these cosmic events to put out under this little tree that I think of as the Six of Cups. And then I have another crystal that one of my good friends gave me that's actually supposed to be put with your tarot cards, and I just went ahead and put all of those on there, and I pick up the deck this morning and it feels like a friend. And so maybe it was me. But it's not beyond the realm of the believable to think that these objects hold energies. Okay, so I'm going to do a reading. All of my decks want to be in on this reading. This is a reading about love, any kind of love. It could be your Valentine's romantic love. It can be this Aquarian humanitarian love. Mercury, which is in retrograde, is conjunct with Venus today, I believe. I would just be ashamed to let that coffee go to waste. And so let's just see what the cards say, and I'm going to just go intuitively through as many decks as need to be brought into this, but I'll just pull one card from each deck, and we're going to do the 5-card release, embrace, revisit, because Mercury is in retrograde, hidden influences, and future energies. All right, so for our release, we get the Tower. That is the Tower in this cool deck. I'm reading a book about liberation tarot, which I forgot, it's Greer, something Greer, I want to say. It's really interesting, kind of moving beyond tarot as being just about sort of, am I going to get rich? Am I going to get laid? We're going to embrace the 7 of Cups. So this is a card about choices, projections. The Tower is an end. And I thought of that book because it's interpreting the Tower as like the end of consumer culture or something like that. But anyway, we're supposed to release some kind of ending and move into embracing all of the choices that ending opens up for us. We will clarify. We are revisiting the 4 of Cups. I love this card, and this is one of the reasons I bought this deck. I started watching one of the tarot readers that I first started watching. He taught me how to read all the cards and put them together in stories. And I'm blanking on her name. Mary Jo Cranmore is her name, but the name of her channel, I'm forgetting. Anyway, you can look in my subscriptions there if you're curious about what I follow. And so she was using this deck that day. And anyway, this 4 of Cups is really, so we want to revisit, this is what we've lost. This is what we put our time into. And this is the new love. And so this person is grounded and is really bringing in that Ace of Cups there. So that's our revisiting card. Hidden influence is the Moon, which epitomizes the hidden influence. This is the mysterious, what we don't know, unless perhaps we get it in dreams. You can see these are very evocative images. A woman sitting on an iceberg looking at two peaks under a moon. Yeah, it seems, and I think there's an addition in that. It's a new moon, as you might want to notice. It sort of brings in this sense of the unknown, but also of choices. So I feel like I'm feeling there's been a surprise or an ending or transformation through the tower that we can move on into really looking at Seven of Cups, Four of Cups, the moon. These are about choices and kind of being aware that we may be in a state where we don't yet know everything. That's the hidden influence here. The incoming is, I love this Eight of Pentacles as well. This is about very practical, creative work, a new skill, learning a new skill in the future, or this person, an artist kind of person here. Okay. On the bottom, we get more sense of a choice, the Two of Pentacles. So if you may be at a jumping off place in a way. I think of jumping off place because I see her sitting here. It looks like cold water, but also she is high above the water. If you think of that invitation to jump into the water, and the moon is very often a person underwater, quite often a redhead underwater. Well, let's see what the Light Seers Tarot wants to add to this. So this is about love. Lots of choices, decisions, getting grounded, focusing on what that Ace of Cups is. What is your heart's desire? And then it looks like there's some work to do in the future once you decide where you want to go. And what kind of love this is. You know, is it romantic love? Is it global love? Okay, so we're releasing. So we've had a tower, and I see another image here. The tower is often two people jumping out or falling out of a tower that's been hit by lightning. This reminds me of that in the background. This is also a card about self-harm sometimes. It's also that you get somewhere, but you're feeling regret about how you got there. So this is in our release. In our embrace, underneath the Seven of Cups, we get a truth. A new truth, Ace of Swords, new insight coming in. This is making me think about things that astrologers are talking about, that we're in this time of air because of everything being in Aquarius, but also that we're going through this photon field. The light is changing from gold to white, and we are being energetically transformed in this process. You might be experiencing this, according to astrologers, as feeling tired, but also having trouble sleeping, a kind of alertness of mind, and even this sort of space cups, like it feels like it's coming from outer space. All of this, we're talking about downloads and things like that. I'm in menopause, so I'm waking up all night, burning up in a sweat. It's kind of fantastic, and it really feels to me like my body's changing. I'm changing. My identity is changing. There's lots of information to suggest that that's the kind of time that we're in, a time of massive transformation, of collapse. And so this can come down right into the level of self-love, self-knowledge, and a kind of, I see here in our embrace like an invitation to open our minds to a bunch of new possibilities. They're not clear yet. The Seven of Cups you can be confused when you're in a Seven of Cups, and because the moon is in our hidden influence, it's kind of just saying, just go with this. Just see what happens, let it unfold. It's okay not to know. We can see the truth is coming in, and there's a kind of surrender in this figure, as that's quite a vulnerable thing to just let your mind be penetrated by this idea from the outside. And this person has a headache. That seems related to me. That may be resisting this new idea. And I see that light coming into her head as these lightning bolts that are hitting this tower. So right now I read that you're being changed. There's new things coming in, and perhaps you're being told to release resistance to that. Like, my head hurts, some kind of anxiety here, and embrace this change, open up to it. Sort of follow her lead and be able to surrender to that. Okay, so we're going to clarify now what we're revisiting, because Mercury is in retrograde, and here we get a Four of Cups. Okay, so it looks like you may be revisiting old hurts, and that's certainly a part of the perspective shift that happens in a Four of Cups. These would be Three of Swords, 3 cups, losses. And you have to feel that. You have to revisit that pain in going forward. And sometimes we try to skip grief. So that could be this resistance of just like letting yourself know, feel, and getting grounded in this. This is the process of transformation that we are revisiting this while Mercury is in retrograde. So hidden influence is our moon card. Mystery. We have strength as well here. So you don't know. There's a lot that you don't know, but you also have self-knowledge. Like the strength card to me is that I know my human, I know my nature where I can be violent, but I also have strength to rise above that to a higher self. You can see she has a heart necklace around her. So this card is where you're trustworthy. And so you can trust and go through the unknown here because you do have this strength at your disposal. All right, so future energy, we see some work, some creative work. Let's see what else. What does the light seers want to add to our sense of what's coming in ahead? Oh, you get 2 cards. Okay, wonderful. We get the King of Cups, that emotionally mature, sometimes a quiet guy. He knows his feelings. He's got a big heart, but he's not one to talk a lot. And then we have with him in the future, Queen of Pentacles. She knows her worth. She's grounded in earth. I see lots of maturity in the future as a result, perhaps, of this work or being in touch with your heart and your sense of your worth. I see both of them have their hand on the symbol of their suit, but this also represents their worth, their wisdom, and we can see that this person is painting similarly. This is her art, but we can see the creative aspect here of the 8 of Pentacles. It can be a very practical, grounded kind of work. This to me looks like the work of knowing your worth lying ahead. And on the bottom we get again the Tower. So the cards are asking us to, let me just have you look at that. This is very earth-based transformation, very much we can see that energy coming out here. This orb of light seems really important to me. Here, they can be a kind of transformative, protective space. And again, I can feel like this sense of the unknown. And it echoes what we see here, the choice or the balance that we seek, or the going around and around between options that is underlying in the other deck. All right. This deck wants to add in here. Guardian of the Night. see what the Guardian of the Night wants to add to our story. So we have a choice. We have also, there's always a choice of perspective in tarot. We have a choice of how to respond to this really transformative tower that has appeared here twice. And in both cases, we see lightning striking this tree, and here we have a more abstract kind of structure that looks like a tower. But these cards kind of let your imagination flow in cool ways. And then this one, we can see butterflies produced from this. So there's a surprise kind of strike of lightning, right? There's a similar kind of strike happening into her mind. This person, that we're supposed to release this headache that we get from this and kind of just be open to all of the possibilities. Right, we've got this 3 of Swords and 4 of Cups in our revisiting. So we need to look at our losses as we manifest the sort of next unknown new thing. In the realm of love, self-love, romantic love, friendship, family, global, collective, humanitarian, earth-centered love, whatever it is. Okay. In addition to our release, and you may notice that this is already on the table here, the 4 of Cups. I like this 4 of Cups as something that we want to see, that sort of looking away from the losses already towards the new hope of a new love that is the Ace of Cups. So this is in our release. This person in our revisit, so that's what we're releasing, but we're also revisiting the same card. Okay, she's actually looking at the losses as she manifests that Ace of Cups. Perhaps that's a different approach to this perspective shift here. Like I always want to just immediately move on from my hurts. I'm all better now. I'm moving on. And when I was younger, I just move on from one love to the next. I was a serial monogamist. I've had a number of years now to alone, not without hopes and heartaches during these years, but to really face and feel my losses. And yet I currently, as Mercury went retrograde, I found my mind and my heart go right across all of my heartaches. When you're 50, there's a lot. And try to what did I miss? What is there to learn from that? So I feel like this is a part of the message of this reading. In your embrace, again, a sense of intuitive knowing. We have the High Priestess here. This little bat hanging upside down. And when you hang upside down, you get a new perspective. So it also makes me think of the Hanged Man. A High Priestess knows. And bats have a way of knowing and connecting with one another that is intuitive, also with radar. And so they have like powers of knowing that are really marvelous. So this is in your embrace. So trust your intuition. And I also see this hanging upside down. It's reminding me of the surrender that we saw in the Ace of Swords here, right? And this is really just meditating and letting this come in. And so this is in the embrace is, and it's funny because if we look at the release, which is the little armadillo hanging upside down, but twisting up to look to the next love, this one is just surrendering and just lying upside down here. That takes a lot of core strength to avoid looking at your losses, I think, when I look at that armadillo. Okay, so we have in our revisit here with Mercury, the 4 of Cups and the 3 of Swords. I mean, this is a painful revisit. We avoid this for a reason, right? That armadillo is twisting up away from looking at this because it hurts, because you can go in to look at your losses and you might mistakenly think, oh, there's something wrong with me. I have to change who I am in order to to be loved. I don't think that's the lesson here. The lesson here has you knowing your worth, knowing your heart in the future, knowing your strength. So what do we want to add to, what are we revisiting? The Fool. Okay. So one of the things that we can do when we get into that, okay, I'll come back to the Fool. One of the things that we can get into when we're in a Three of Swords is, she is in anguish, right? And so we can get into victimhood. And this has happened to me. Is like, I'm a Scorpio, like I'm intense. I don't know, like when I'm in all in immediately, and it doesn't really take, I feel like I'm a fool a lot. Like fools rush in, okay? So revisiting this, and perhaps your interpretation of being the fool needs to change, and that's why you need to revisit this. I mean, look at this wolf. I identify with the wolf's kind of extreme curiosity and the foolishness of venturing out on the ice as if to befriend that bunny. And he's not hunting that bunny. It's like he wants to play with this other being. And there's risk in that, right? That you fall through the ice. The bunny will run away and think of you as dangerous and scary, a big wolf to her bunny. But look, hidden influence, we have a predator with the prey, the lion and the lamb here. So this is here for you to perhaps rethink what you may have thought you should move away from. So if somebody said, you're too intense, or you're too sensitive, or you're too whatever, relook at that and get grounded in yourself by looking. But also, there you are, you're manifesting new love. It's self-love. And if we want to think global, it's so clear to me that we're in a moment where we get to change our orientation. Like, we're predators, we're high on the food chain, supposedly, on this planet, and yet we have a capacity coming from our hearts when we heal our hearts and our relationship with nature to change the nature of our relationships with our planet and the other beings on this planet, be they human, animal, mineral even, right? Like, even if, like when I was talking at the beginning about that deck having like a vibe, and trying to welcome it in, why not? All right, so hidden influence. Here we have the Moon and strength and the Hermit. The Hermit is about going inward, going alone, reflecting, kind of a time of reflection and wisdom coming from that. Yeah, you have really put some work into knowing yourself and kind of rising above in this strength here, right? Like, so you've done this. You've hermited. You have wisdom. And as you focus on these losses and being the fool, don't forget the work that you did has benefits as well. Okay, that's what I think that's telling us. Let's see what else here. Looking ahead to your future energy coming in. The Eight of Pentacles, clarified the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Cups. And then we get the Page of Swords. Just a little truth bringer. The sword representing the truth, the intellect. Looking back, this little weasel animal, I'm not sure what animal this is, I'll have to look it up in the book, is looking back across the table of what we've gone through. So some point in the future, the truth that you pick up on this current journey is going to inform the Queen of Pentacles, the King of Cups, as you go about this work. So I'm sorry, but we're not done. reflecting back over the past. You guys, I feel like at any moment you could leave this reading and with something that you needed here. It's a sense of surrender to not knowing what's happening, but also of remembering who you are and the work that you've done, and rethinking maybe something that you arrived at that has to do with your losses. Maybe you blamed yourself for being a fool, and to see instead that there might be something you don't know, and to remember your strength and the wisdom that you gained in your hermiting, and that this is going to bring you ahead into security and love. Queen of Pentacles, King of Cups, that is informed by what you're going through right now. Page of Swords is a watcher, and this page is looking back at what we've just seen. So releasing the Tower, we get the Father of Wands here as a big cobra. This is one of the alpha males of the tarot. Father of Wands would be Leo. Is a very positive agent in their life. So there's definitely giving up control. That's in your release. Giving up being the alpha. Giving up, twisting up like that armadillo to that fourth cup. Getting out of your headache. And the Father of Wands is as the alpha here. This is just reiterating that. He's struck by lightning. So again, we see the lightning strike here. And perhaps it puts you in a defensive mode. Yeah. And so, and this I was watching Cindy from Awakening to Spirit. And she said this, and this was in the release in that reading too for, I don't know, Leo, I think. And she also pointed out, like, hey, this is you. How are you supposed to leave yourself here? And she suggested to uncoil as a way of interpreting this in the release. I'm not really loving my hair today. It's very distracting. It figures when Leo comes up that I get distracted by my hair. Okay. In your embrace. Got a lot going on here. Definitely surrendering and trusting in your intuitive knowing is in your embrace here. Further information. There is a Two of Cups. This is true love. Wonderful. This could be, it's a perfect Valentine thing to embrace. And you may intuitively know who this is already. The Two of Cups, it's a new love. It's a mirroring love, like you're equal. And I think of this in terms of social justice as well, of like bringing equality and justice into the world as one of the acts of love that we are called to at this time. In our revisit, okay, there's an ending that we are revisiting, the end of the world, no doubt. And we've seen lots of endings in the love realm, that the heartache of the Three of Swords and the losses of the Four of Cups, and how to really look at them as you manifest the next life. We also see that the world is followed by a new beginning, the Fool. So we have an ending and a beginning, and you're revisiting the end as you set out and rethink about how is it that I think of myself as a fool? Have I regretted being a fool that rushed in? Have I regretted the curiosity and attraction that this wolf shows towards this bunny rabbit? Or maybe I have been rash and I want to relook at that. But the world also reiterates that there is an ending, and with an ending there's always a new beginning. And this particular world reminds us, as we revisit this part of these cards, it reminds us you are already whole. Don't forget that. When you revisit broken heart, you're already whole. This is your journey. You didn't make a mistake. You were supposed to go that way. You were supposed to learn that lesson. That's what I think of this World card telling us. Hidden influences. We have the Moon, Strength, the Hermit, and the Father of Swords. Aquarian energy. This wise, great horned owl with his rainbow sword. I feel like this is always reminding me of an owl I saw last summer when the fires were going in California. And I came across a great horned owl sitting very close to me. She seemed, or he, I don't know. I always want to call animals she. The owl seemed exhausted, and she was just sitting there blinking and looking at me. And her face reminded me of my cat. Just looked like my little tiger striped kitty cat, just looking at me. I felt the sense that there's just something was going to happen that day. Something did happen that day. Kind of a big thing that I had been wishing could happen that day. I felt like there's a heralding that can come in. And so here what I think the message is, look around you. Look, like there's this little spider here. There's this owl that appeared. Be open to the signs. You may be in the moon here. Maybe in this unknown space. This may be kind of an uncomfortable energy that we're having right now. But look at the signs. Look in nature in particular for signs. And then also this is telling us the Father of Swords is Aquarius. There's so much happening in Aquarius. Look perhaps in your chart or to what's happening in the chart of today for the influences there in Aquarius. And as I told you at the beginning, Mercury is in retrograde in Aquarius and is today conjunct with Venus. So that's why we're seeing in our revisiting broken hearts and losses and how we saw ourselves as a fool, or maybe we forgot that we are already complete even without another. Future. Hierophant. Hierophant is potentially, in this deck, it's potentially a new teacher, a mentor, a guide. There's that lightning bolt again, and there's the key. And the key often appears as the key to a door that you need. You want in, right? You want into the next place. And the Hierophant here is delivering that key. So that's coming. The Hierophant's also, this raven is also looking backwards. So the key clearly lies in you doing this revisiting work, this surrendering, trusting your intuition, and being open to this new love, this Two of Cups. Bottom of the deck. Oh, I didn't look at the bottom of this deck. So this deck, we had the Two of Cups. And on this deck, we have the Sacred Mountain, the Three of Pentacles. This is building something with others under the Sacred Mountain. Okay. Putting all of this, organizing all of this. Okay, last deck that wanted to talk to you here in this message to help you clearly give up control. Quit being the alpha control freak, right? Quit using those abs to look beyond your losses. Revisit your losses. Revise the narrative that you have about being a fool, whatever that is. And surrender. Trust what you know. And there's a Two of Cups here. There is self-love, romantic love. There's mirroring, social justice love. This is what you're being told to embrace. You may be afraid of that love because you're being a control freak. You're being told, quit being the alpha, quit being all coiled up and ready to strike. Okay? Trust this Tower. Yes, love is gonna make you, break you, change you, transform you. It's a beautiful thing about love. Let it happen. You are a mature person who has done work. And it's so clear that the work that you may have jumped over was feeling grief and pain. You might have told yourself, like, I got to move on from this. I got to get back out there. But then your heart was closed. And so the hermit. The hermit is take time to heal. Four of Cups is coming in today as take time to heal, right there with the Three of Swords. You don't know what's coming, but it looks good. The key, the truth. Okay, so in your release is a page of fire. It's a magical, beautiful person there. What does she have on her shoulder? Just magic all over her. She has like a tiger with her. This is in your release. Like, this seems to me to be, well, it's a youthful energy, the page of fire. It's very passionate, youthful energy, some sense of immaturity. Or maybe it's a person that you was not mature enough for you. To me, yeah, it looks like it's a nostalgic kind of image. Like, I feel like we're looking at her as we walk on. And what a magical person. What an amazing loss she was. And maybe that was the tower that you experienced and has caused you to, you've ignored your losses in a way, but then you've also kind of held on to this fantasy in your past. And the cards are saying, release her or him or them. I see why it's hard to let go. I see why you're feeling this remorse. And maybe this guy is actually looking back there. There may be some nostalgia in your story that you need to release. We also see in the past there's a father of fire, a father of wands, and a page of wands. This suggests an inequity and maturity in the past, that you might want to face that. Just this is what we're supposed to embrace, the truth. Embrace whatever that truth is, that you're maybe avoiding knowing, that you intuitively know about love. This is just to remind us, our overall embrace is a Seven of Cups. So definitely choices here about how to respond to the past, especially when you get this many deaths involved. Okay, we're embracing the Emperor. This is a decisive person. This is the King of Kings. This is your lion self, your lion heart. That is your lion heart right there. Emperor also can mean like the alpha male, the control, but I see this beautiful, loving being. I see the flowers in his mane. He looks like he has a little crown of white flowers today. And I see the red on his sword. So that's the truth, right? And red is often will, but here it's reflecting the red roses right above in the Two of Cups. Speaks of the red of the heart that appears here. And even the moon that the hermit is learning under. Speaks of the heart here. The red on that sword. The truth in our hearts. Yes, and this new concept, this new idea of love that comes in once you face your losses, once you grieve and get through your anguish, whatever that is that you needed to look at about yourself. So there's your lion heart. And remember, this is a part of your underlying influence, that you have a lion's nature. You don't have to be a Leo, but you might have Leo in your chart, but you definitely have a big, gorgeous heart, and you see this in your future here. King of Cups, big heart, lion's heart, true blue. Revisiting we are revisiting this loss, these losses, your story about your part in that loss. Maybe you, okay, and then we get a Two of Air. I've seen the Two of Swords want to come in. So the Two of Air is, again, it's a choice. It's an intellectual choice, philosophical choice. So you made a decision in the past and you're revisiting it somehow, whatever that is. Yeah, and she's also looking towards the past. She seems quite captivated by the one bird here. She's looking at that bird. We're being asked to revisit this. So whatever is happening here, she's looking at that bird from the past, or maybe it's the one that she's not conscious of, that she missed something here. And that's why we revisit, because we missed something. That's what Mercury is doing for us in retrograde. It's taking us very gently back through what happened and the kind of truths that we made up as a result of our interpretation of that. And we get a chance to re-look at that here. What is that bird that you chose in the past? And then go look at the other one. What was the other choice? And you may agree with yourself. Yeah, I made the right choice. Just asking you to rethink it. Look at it again. Maybe you missed something. Okay, hidden influence. The Nine of Fire. She's in a cave, and she's lighting it up with these stars, and it looks like little fairies coming off of that. Then the Nine of Fire, the Nine of Wands, this is, you've been on a long journey, right? This is in your hidden influences. You've been through some things, and when you're in a Nine of Wands, you're determined, you are, you're brave, but you're also tired. And so there may be, yeah, but I really see in this, like, the light that she's seeing here. It makes me actually think that she has a wish. The Star card comes to mind, and she's looking at this wish. And this is what keeps her going, even though she's tired. So this is in your hidden influences, right? And it's making me think about this rainbow sword, right? The signs that we're looking for in nature. Maybe you look up at the stars, and right now, because we just had a new moon a couple nights ago, the 11th? Yeah, wow, 12th, a couple nights ago. The night sky is full of stars, unless it's cloudy. Hopefully it'll be starry night here tonight. There's new snow, and to go out in snowshoes under all those stars without the brightness of the moon overshadowing them, or when the moon's bright, you can't see as many stars. That's what I'm saying. So again, we're looking for signs, but also there's a wish that you have. And sometimes when we go into restriction because we got hurt, we maybe even question, I shouldn't have wanted that, right? I can go right into that of, like, I shouldn't have wanted that. That's why I got hurt. I shouldn't have wanted to go connect with that bunny rabbit. And that's not true. You have a wish. It's a love wish of some kind here. And that part of you got hurt. This is a very common experience for human beings, right? We get hurt, and then we blame ourselves for wishing, for being ourselves. But that wish keeps you going, and that's in your hidden influences. And so you have a chance here to remember everything that you've learned, right? You have your strength that you've learned. You have what you learned when you hermited. You have the influence of the Father of Swords, this Aquarian influence, but also that rainbow sword. That's the truth, right? And the Nine of Fire, here's a wish as well. So there's lots that you need to remember about yourself here. Remember, you're already whole. Revisit this sense of who you are, what you've accomplished on your journey, what you learned, right? An ending is not a failure. It's just time to go to a new thing. So when we get a tower, this is needed. It's a needed change. The end comes sometimes against our will. And I think of the tower as coming when we need to move on, and yet we don't want to. And so we stay. But there's a Two of Cups here. There's something new in the heart realm for you. Future. Future looks mature, deep, secure. And you've got the key and you've got the truth as a result of the journey that you're on right now. Maybe somebody taught you something, right? We had the Hierophant, a teacher, or somebody's coming in to teach you. Like this Two of Cups that's showing up here in two ways. I always think of that as like an equal and a mirroring of you. But the people we love, when we let people love us and we love them and we open our hearts, they teach us. And so if you are wanting a new love, and the Hierophant also, I don't believe in marriage, but the Hierophant, for those of you that do believe in marriage, is a herald of real commitment, real and sort of a institutionalized relationship. And in addition, we're going to get two here. We get here's a Hierophant for you, another Hierophant. She is a priestess. She's under that moon. She's very different from like the kind of pope that often the Hierophant appears as. I see that cup on her table here, and I see the star in her hand. So there's that wish, the star, and there's the cup, that Ace of Cups, that new love. So you get the Hierophant twice, and in addition, there is a 10 of air. This is definitely finishing with that broken heart, that Three of Swords, and moving on. 10 of air is still, it's a very austere and still painful place to be. It's definitely where we have achieved maturity. When we get to a 10, we're done, right? Time to go on to the next thing. There's lots of that here. Lots of new, but you're not done with what happened yet. So, yeah, I always notice how she shaved her head, that kind of act of grief, of loss. And you can see the feathers still falling all around her, representing her other that she has lost, the other winged one. But I also see today that her hair has grown back. It's not shaved bald. Her hair has grown back. And both of these cards emphasize the wings, that you have grown wings, or you can remember your wings in the future. But yes, there's still near future, you are still processing this loss, and you are coming to know your worth and your deep, true heart, your lion's heart, we've said. So that's what I see in the future is work. It's emotional work. It's beautiful. It could be the source of creativity, of art making. But it is the product of having passed through, not denial, but facing your losses. And also remembering who you are. Like you have a lion's heart. Remember, you are complete. You can trust your intuition. And you are, you deserve love. Embrace that. This is in your embrace. I mean, you're a mature, incredible person. All the cards agree to that. And you're on a journey of healing your heart, opening your heart, revisiting some of the stories that you told yourself as a result of getting your heart broken because of that tower. Um, and as you go ahead, there is Hierophant, a key, a truth, a knowing that is mature wisdom of the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Cups. Wow. Well, wherever this love lies for you, maybe you put your heart into a social movement and it got broken. Or you've been shocked at the world and the kind of lack of love and the hardness and the hatred in the world. Maybe that broke your heart. Maybe you went into your hermit mode and you just quit politics. You quit being a social justice worker. Or maybe you had something happen that just caused you to hate yourself. That can happen. Like you try for something and you fail or you don't get it. Trust. You weren't supposed to have that. You're supposed to have something else. It's not a lack on your part that you didn't get it. Like for example, a promotion at work. Good for you for trying, right? And I think that's the message of love always, isn't it? Better to try. And there's lots of needing to revisit something here that you decided. And it seems like you might be a little bit wrong about you and where you have a part in your heartbreak. And so keep looking at that. Let me look at the bottom here of the deck. Here she is, the wise Queen of Air. This is over and over in this reading. Your experience has taught you something. You are wiser for it, and you are freaking magnificent. You're a queen, you're a king, you're an emperor, in multiple ways in this reading. And so hold on to that. Hold on to your beautiful, magnificent self, that the history you've been through has just shaped you. This is your journey. It's your love journey in any realm, self-love, global love. And don't close your heart. Don't get into control. Don't coil up like a cobra, right? Open your heart. You have a lion's heart. This is a powerful King of Kings here, the Emperor. He's so secure because he knows his true heart, right? There's the truth shining on his sword. That red heart, the roses, or this king with his finger on the cup here. This queen who knows her worth. This is you in the future, should you choose to accept this journey. All right, I hope that helped. It's a nice long reading, and my gift to you on this Valentine's Day.